On the Yom Tov of Shavuoth, if we notice, there are no mitzvahs. There are no special commandments that are about the Yom Tov, the holiday itself. There's no lulav we take. There's no esrog. There's no sitting in a sukkah. There's no eating matzah. There's no not eating chametz. It's Shavuos. It's a Yom Tov. But yet what we do find are very interesting customs. A few interesting minhagim. Just to go through a few, we stay up the whole night of Shavuos. There's a focus on eating dairy and eating milchiks. We decorate our homes, our shuls, our yeshivas with flowers. So what's the pshat? Why is it that by Shavuos, which is the Yom Tov, the holiday of Torah, that we're judged on how much Torah we're going to be able to learn the next year? And we appreciate, we understand the beauty of the Torah, we get married to the Torah. Why is it that during that time period, that holiday, there's no mitzvahs that are mentioned in the Torah? It's all about customs, it's all about minhagim. And I think, if I recall correctly, there was a time period in my life when I was a student in high school, and I would learn long hours. It was later at night, and there were a few of us that we learned a little bit later than usual. And perhaps it affected, or could have affected, our sleep, and therefore it would be hard for us to concentrate the next day. And I remember an older individual coming over to us, and he said, "What you're doing is the wrong thing but the right thing." So we asked him, what do you mean? What was wrong and right about staying up extra late to learn? He said, "Oh, in reality, it's the wrong thing, because you're hurting yourself. You're not able to focus. You're making your bodies weaker. The next day is going to suffer on some account. And of course, that's not what Hashem wants. Hashem wants to be learning Torah and focusing to the max. So if you need more sleep, you have to have sleep. So you're not one to take away. However, what you're doing is really right. Because in order to appreciate the Torah which you're learning, in order to understand what you're doing, you first have to have a stage of giving yourself over for it. You have to show selfless, boundless love and efforts and mesiras nefesh and some personal sacrifice to connect to that which you want to accomplish. Because at this stage in your lives, it's important you lose a little sleep so that you connect to what you're trying to give to. As you mature, as you get older, and you already have that love, you now back up a little bit and you appreciate there's a time to sleep, there's a time to learn, there's a time to daven, there's a time to work as we go through life. And it was an important lesson that stuck with me through life. Many times we look at Torah and we think to ourselves, how is it possible? How am I going to connect? It's not talking to me. The last time I learned a good piece, a good sugya, a good shtickle Torah, a good piece of learning, high school, Beis Medrash. I remember that chabura I once gave. Or perhaps for some of us, we never had that ability. We never had that chance. The idea is when it comes to Yom Tov of Shavuos, we show HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I want this. This is what I want. I'm not holding by knowing all of Torah. I'm not even holding that could be I can't even dedicate too much of a day towards my Torah. But this is what I want to. I want to connect. And we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to help us get there. So we have customs, not everyone could do it, but there's a custom that we stay up. We stay up the whole Shavuos night. And we give of ourselves. We take away our sleep, and it's difficult to stay awake, but we give of ourselves to try to connect to something so much more. And in that way we forge that ava, that love, that kesher, that dveikus to Hashem's Torah. Ask Him to please give it to us more, and give it that we have the ability to learn it more. But it doesn't end there. The idea is also that we have to realize when we show HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Hashem shows us that Torah is so sweet. It's so beautiful. As Shavuos is compared is the wedding, is the chasana between us, Klal Yisrael, and the Torah. So too we have the flowers, and we beautify that which we represents Torah, be it in our shuls, in our yeshivas, and even in our homes, to show this is our connection, and it's a beautiful connection. As we ask every morning, V'harevna, we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, make it sweet. Torah itself is sweet, but as we connect to it and we learn it, we should develop, we should see the sweetness in it. Because when we taste something sweet, we want more of it. So that is this understanding of Shavuos. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu would give us a mitzvah, learn Torah, do this, shake a flag, dance around, if these were to be actions of mitzvahs, then perhaps it would take away a little bit from our feelings, of our expression of what we want from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So on some level, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, this Yom Tov is a regular Yom Tov. No special mitzvahs. There's one mitzvah I want, there's one idea of this Yom Tov, is that your full, overwhelming love, outpouring of affection towards what I have, my precious matana, my precious present to give you, which is the Yom Tov of the Torah that I have itself. And therefore there's no actual mitzvah, but rather customs that surround it, to show how beautiful it is. And we remember the day when Hashem gave it to us. And we remember David HaMelech. And we look forward to Mashiach, all the beauty that the Torah has to give us. Malchus based David. And we give of ourselves. Because if it would be a mitzvah, it wouldn't be fully from ourselves. But because it's a custom, we go for it. We do it ourselves. We show HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm here for you. I want to learn your Torah. I'm willing to sacrifice my own comforts for you. There's no better way to acquire Torah. And to go into this Yom Tov of Shavuoth, which is the day of judgment for us, of how much Torah we're going to learn, and what of our ability, how easy it is for us to be learned Torah. Then this day coming up, and when we look at these 2 days of Shavuos, we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu these 2 things. Number one, help me give of myself for your Torah. Let me not be too complacent. Let me give of myself. Let me get out of my comfort zone to a point where I want to make it that this Torah is my priority. And it might even take some sacrifice. And at the same time, I tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm going to sacrifice. I want to connect to this Torah. I'm giving of myself, even though it's a schedule which I really can't keep up the rest of the year. But I'm giving of myself. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, let me connect and make it sweet. V'haravno. Let me appreciate it. Let me understand it. Let me love it. And with those together, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees our desire to connect to His Torah, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will make it so sweet, then we'll get to a present, we'll appreciate the way it's supposed to be, by HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah becoming our Torah. Mazel Tov. Have a wonderful Yom Tov.